Hey, welcome to a bold and distant future. How's everyone feeling?
Slightly caffeinated and in the need of a cigarette, but, carry on.
Smoke them if you got them. It's cool.
We've been hosting sister and brother-in-law for the last couple of days, and we've been out playing every damn day, so I'm relaxed and happy.
I'm going to try to go see the Amy Goodman movie tonight.
She was here for the opening
Yeah.
a couple of days ago.
Yeah, you notice she's been making the rounds. And they're going to be showing this movie that I've been wanting to see called Coup 53, about the coup in Iran.
Ooh, that would be worth seeing.
Yeah. That happens later this week. Hey, don't forget,
Show out the money, man.
May 1st is the shutdown. No spending, no shopping, no school, no work. May 1st, 2026.
Can we
Takes
go
off.
view art on May 1st?
You have my permission. You can go view art, yes.
Excellent.
Who's art?
I'm going to the Monet show.
There you go.
Don't buy anything in the gift shop. How's that?
Definitely not. Too expensive anyway.
Now, as we start off the show, I'd like to put in the casualty tracker, which is put out by Al Jazeera. And this surprised the heck out of me because last week, the numbers in Iran were 2,200 or something like that. It jumped up by 1,000 people in Iran. And I don't know if Lebanon jumped up. I think they were just around 2,000, so they didn't jump much. But I don't know why the big increase. I don't remember hearing about a battle this last week that wherein 1,000 people were killed. So I don't know how they're tabulating that number, but it jumped up by 1,000.
Huh. We pretty much know what the United States is doing. I'm not sure we know what Israel's doing.
There's that.
Uh,
That's a good point.
It's one of their operations that spike in numbers. Wow.
I mean, Donald Trump has basically said that he's abiding by the ceasefire. At least that's what he said last night, I believe. Of course, that could have changed. It's been a few hours.
Yeah.
But he has, the blockade is active. I mean, he's shot out the motor of one ship, or they have shot out the motor, and I believe they've detained 3 others.
I think we detained one with an Indian flag
Oh,
from, India. I don't know what happened to that, but I know that we did disable a tanker that was flying under, I believe, an Iranian flag. I don't know, but there are sites on YouTube that will present what's happening virtually in real time, what's happening in the state of Hormuz. I'll try to find the name of one that I look at from time to time, but it's well worth looking at if this is something that is of interest.
I've heard about this. It's like a maritime ship tracker or something like that website. That shows in real time where ships are anywhere around the world, right?
Yeah, there's several of them. The one that I'm talking about is called What's Going On with Shipping, and they are focused right now on the Strait of Hormuz.
Mm-hmm.
We've boarded a couple of container ships, it looks like. We've diverted a few tankers, and then we disabled and seized an Iranian ship a couple of days ago that was attempting to break the blockade. And they're calling it Schrodinger's Strait. Is it open or closed? Don't know.
Right. Well, this fellow, Kash Patel, has been in the news due to what appears to be a drinking problem. And this comic, the secretary, comes into his office. Get a grip on your drinking or you'll miss out on the lucrative insider trading at the White House. I remember, and FBI in general are thought of as very straight-laced, not drinkers, kind of, Boy Scouts. And Kash Patel being, the head of the FBI and having this kind of an attitude where he's chugging brewskis is kind of a different look, branding for the FBI,
How many times have we all heard, as long as it doesn't affect my job, and knowing what that statement usually leads to?
Right.
All I have to do is switch that around. House Republican on Patel heroin use, as long as it doesn't affect his... Yeah. There
will.
are levels of hypocrisy.
Yes, they'll look the other way when it's their guy. Well, here's the first clip, and this is the Tucker Carlson clip. Take a listen.
Oh,
else who supported him. You wrote speeches for him. I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway, the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
But it didn't. There are tons of people of low character who like outperform their character. It doesn't have to be
Sort of the norm, actually, these days, I
Right.
would say.
I've outperformed my character a lot. I don't have especially high character, right? But you try your best. But what was this? Was this always the plan?
One of the most likable anti-Semites that's ever walked the planet.
Yeah, now they're doing everyone's peeling
Kind of
off and making their contrition speeches. It's all happening.
Yeah.
kind of interesting that he's interviewing his brother.
Oh, was that his brother?
Yes.
But I do admire the contrition, and the idea of that. I love that he also fingered millions of others.
You guys
Yeah.
ever seen that Ricky Gervais, Nietzsche, and Hitler have a conversation bit?
No.
Oh,
Sounds great, though.
Yeah, this reminds me of that. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to take too much time on this. But look it up.
You know
Ricky
we're going to be
Gervais,
doing that
Hitler,
right after the show.
Nietzsche. There you go.
well, the one speech I didn't find is the Alex Jones retraction. All of these guys, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these people that are peeling off from the Trump Foundation in a way that are a signal. Hey, the Minnesota Reformer broke the scoop on this one. The very first ICE officer has been charged with assault for threatening people with a gun in Minnesota. We'll see what is made of this. And I believe the guy's on the lam. They haven't found him. He's like at large. But
It's a good start.
It's a good start, and this could be the pattern of how perhaps these ICE agents who have been acting so recklessly are going to be held accountable.
So this is the state?
The state of Minnesota is
Right.
going after. So is that true? If you're accused and tried by within the state, you're not pardonable, right? I believe that's true.
Yeah, only that governor would be able to pardon.
Only the governor, not the president. So Trump could not pardon this person.
Yeah. Wow, this could be really important.
I think it is.
Because there are no federal investigations and or prosecutions internally on any of these issues. So the states pick it up and build momentum on prosecutions and indictments, and then hopefully victories. Yeah.
So it's in Hennepin County. Mary
That's my
Moriarty.
county.
That's your county. Mary Moriarty, the district attorney, I'm assuming, that brought this case up. And the person they're going after, his name is Gregory Donald Morgan, Jr., and he faces 2 felony counts of second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon for allegedly pointing a gun at 2 unnamed victims in a car while he was driving an unmarked SUV.
I'm curious about how they found out who he was, since they're masked up and they don't wear any kind of ID, nor do they ever disclose who they are.
Yeah, that's interesting. I assume the people videotaped him, is my thinking. But I've heard he was off duty. He was either going home for the day.
Got it, okay.
So he wasn't really doing active ICE, work at the time, which could make a difference in the case, I believe. If he were on his way to a site or something, then that would be a different thing. But anyhow, it's going to play out in the courts, and it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, well,
But for me, that begs the question, where are the arrests and criminal charges for Jonathan Ross, who killed Renee Good, and the other two fellows who shot Alex Preddy?
Yeah.
How come they're scot-free?
You know the story they're going to spin right away, right? He was carrying a gun.
Right. Well, here's the other two. Raimundo Gutierrez and Jesus Ocha. Those are the two.
Are they immigrants?
I didn't do a background check. We know very little about these two guys. We know a little bit more about Jonathan Ross, but they got good.
That guy on the
coverage.
left looks like Father Sarducci.
Yeah. Oh, Father Guido.
Or yeah, is that the name, Father Guido Sarducci? Did I get the name right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
Sorry, that kind of took us off track a bit.
But it does help us understand our trivial knowledge is valuable at times.
There you go.
It's kind of interesting looking at what's going on with Congress trying to fast track payments for whatever payments they got coming through for the Department of Homeland Security without having to go through discussion, i.e. eliminating a filibuster. And I think this is coming up this coming week for a vote. I don't remember. I was looking at it, but they're looking for a way around the stalemate, which is the longest one in history, by the way.
Here's the McKenna.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's just too nuts. It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed. The collapse of the socialist world, the rise of the internet, these are changes so immense, nobody could imagine them ever happening. And now that they have happened, nobody even bothers to mention what a big deal it is. So the good news is that as primates, we're incredibly adaptable to change. Put us in a desert, we survive. Put us in the jungle, we survive. Under Hitler, we survive. Under Nixon, we survive. We can put up with about anything, and it's a good thing because we're going to be tested to the limits. And this is why the right wing is so alarmed, because what they see going on is the breakdown of all tradition, all order, all sanctioned norms of behavior. And they're quite right that it's happening, but they're quite wrong to conclude that it should be resisted or is somehow evil. The mushroom said to me once, it said, this is what it's like when a species prepares to depart for the stars. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's a fire in a madhouse. I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and
Well, he hit that one on the head, didn't he?
No kidding.
Yeah, Terrence McKenna had a lot going on.
Perhaps the mushroom.
Mushroom said to me once, what was that stoned ape theory? Is that
Apes apes. Early proto-humans would basically they'd have cattle, and as the cattle would, take a dump, fungi would grow. So basically, bottom line, they're hunter-gatherers. The fungi would grow in the scat that the cattle would leave behind. They would eat the fungi and they'd get stoned. And that's how they came to a realization that there was consciousness outside of them. So that's the beginning of religion, and it is the beginning of a sort of spiritual evolution, and arguably the beginning of civilization.
wow?
Did
cool.
you happen to read The 100th Monkey ever?
I'm aware of it, but I've never read it. I know what it is. I don't buy it.
Pretty pretty interesting theory
Mm-hmm.
about how consciousness jumps. And that's the bigger piece of that book. It's about how there are jumps in consciousness.
I think that's right, but I don't think it's a single person. I think that it basically is almost like you're at a plateau, you just remain on the plateau for a while, then something happens where you make a leap. I think it's almost more like what happened in 2001, Space Odyssey, with the apes there.
Yeah.
There is suddenly this kind of, there's one guy that figures out that this bone could be used as a tool, but then it takes off.
Yeah.
I think that's a little different than the 100th monkey. It's like suddenly the consciousness, and this is really weird, suddenly the consciousness expands within the group.
Well, and in the 100th monkey, it expanded, as you may or may not know. The premise was that the apes on the mainland learned to wash bananas because they didn't like eating sand. And on an adjacent island, the monkeys learned the same thing.
Okay.
Without having exposure.
Well, maybe that's closer to what I was thinking. So obviously I don't really know the theory. I always thought it was somebody who kind of sets the pace, and then that monkey gets copied. But it sounds like what you're saying is a little closer to what I was thinking, that there's this kind of leap that occurs, and it occurs across the group.
We got to hope for a leap now in the consciousness of man.
Well, one might be coming. If Terence McKenna is right, then one is coming.
I don't know if I still have a copy, but
Oh,
I will tell you at the time I bought it. I can't remember who was doing it, but I think I bought 50 or 100 copies and gave them out to people when I was at craft fairs. Somebody'd
good.
come to the booth, there'd be an interesting conversation, I'd hand them the book. I'd go, here you go, have this.
Well, this happened at Coachella, which I find interesting. The band The Strokes concluded their set with a song they don't normally perform called Oblivious. And during the concert, there were images of these kind of text and images on the screens behind them, different CIA operations throughout the years. Very political way to end a set. I mean, at a kind of a chill Coachella kind of vibe concert, to have all these graphics up there talking about operations overtaking the president of Bolivia, Juan Torres, and who was the other one? Salvador Allende, who was overthrown in Chile in 1973. It just goes on and on and on. It was.
Do you know the date that Allende was overthrown in Chile?
No, what was the date?
September 11th.
Oh, really? You think that's not a mistake?
You can ponder this, and perhaps there is a connection, but I would say there's a certain level of synchronicity there.
As we were walking through those events, particularly the 54 CIA in Iran, you think about, okay, so it has been an orchestrated plan for oligarchic rule, authoritarian rule, going back that far. They talk about Iran as being, oil that changed remittance of the Shah as being oil friendly. But it's much larger than that. It was an oligarchic scheme to say, this is how we're going to begin running the world.
But particularly Latin America.
Yeah. Wow.
They did mention Mohammad Mossadegh, who was overthrown in 1953 in Iran. He was the prime minister of Iran.
Yeah, that's exactly the one. Yeah. So all of these, is one way of looking at it, have been nothing but economically motivated regime changes that favor American capitalism.
The corporate
Yeah.
takeover.
This one is particularly galling, considering what Guatemala's gone through since.
I don't know the background of this story.
Well, I don't remember the date, but Arbenz was democratically elected, and then the military took over, and then there was a genocide against the Mayans.
Wow.
It was horrible.
This is a fact from our current situation. They bombed universities.
Yeah, this is the final way they ended their their last song of the set, where they said over 30 universities were destroyed in Iran. And then they have a picture of a building, and they say this is the last university, and then it blows up.
Wow.
So they blew up every single university.
Why?
Well, why do you think?
For the same reason Trump has attacked universities in the U.S., because you want to change the curriculum. You want to change the knowledge base. You want to whitewash everything and replace it with this limited capitalist ideology. Wow.
Well, it's along the lines of what he says. He doesn't particularly expect the support of informed, intelligent people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it makes the population malleable.
Yeah. And now that makes sense to me why Gaza was obliterated the way it was.
Eventually, we're going to have to talk about Gaza.
Yeah.
Now's probably not the best time. But yeah, we should devote a show to exactly that. What do you think, Roy?
I think it's a good idea.
It's a friend of mine who probably works for Mossad.
That would be great insight to have.
I don't know. I know we can learn a lot from him, but he's always welcome.
Oh, I'll pass that along.
You know,
Yeah,
that
if
would
you're
be-
serious about this, we can do this. It would, we should probably make it longer than a half an hour.
Oh, I would think so. That would be a special episode. I'd invite him to come and talk, for sure.
Huh.
Directly akin to that would be, why don't we, as a show, tease out a bit that idea that seems to be becoming more apparent now, which is this is not just one random event after another, as the CIA and or others like to tell. It is a series of symmetrical events like the stone thrown in the pond that's repeatedly playing out since the 1950s. Yeah, these things are always sort of pushed out as some sort of unique, unrepeatable event. And when you step back and look closely at them united or knit together, you can see a clear pattern.
Yes, in retrospect, you can.
You can't,
Which
right?
is problematic.
Yep.
And the problem is, it isn't just a single stone that's being thrown in the pond. It's a
Yeah.
hailstorm.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's the combination of everything hitting the pond at the same time and over a period of time,
Yeah.
wherein the patterns begin to emerge. My take, by the way, just real quick, I don't want to take us too far down this rabbit hole. My take on the Middle East is that it's civil war. And the question is, to whose benefit is it for the Middle East? And I'm thinking everything from, Kurdistan to Iraq to all the way through to Egypt and the Saudi Peninsula. That whole thing is basically engulfed in conflict. And to whose benefit is that?
Yeah. Great point.
Historically, it's been in conflict since it was divided by someone who didn't know what was going on with the tribal influences of all the different areas.
You could argue that it's been that way since the end of the Ottoman Empire.
Possibly.
And you're referring, of course, to the French and the British.
Mhm.
And, basically doing what they did everywhere, which is quite consciously putting essentially unitary societies, splitting them down the middle and putting one half in each new country. And we all know about this, the divide and conquer.
I'm sorry, important to spell it out again, remind one another, and help everyone see the connections between all of these. So they're not disparate parts of a whitewashed history.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think we should pursue that in a future episode, and I'm all for it.
Well, it's not going to go away, so we
Yeah.
have time.
But I think recognizing the patterns was super important.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you for being here today at this episode of The Bold and Distant Future, and I hope you all come back next week. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.